Good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight to talk about emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Well, it's that new catchphrase that everyone is talking about in the hiring process, right? When people ask me to sum it up in 60 seconds or less, I usually say that it's that um, it's that pause you take in an emergency situation before you speak your mind, or it's that breath you take while you count to 10 before you say something that you know you're going to regret, right? Well, that's actually not emotional intelligence. That's self regulation. Emotional intelligence is much, much more than that. Emotional intelligence leads to emotional intelligence leads to healthier relationships because you excel at communication. It helps you understand the value of people. It's your willingness to see things from other people's point of view and find common ground. It's connecting, and connecting increases influence. So, again, what is emotional intelligence? For many, emotional intelligence is 5 factors, and self regulation is just the first one of those. It's also motivation, empathy, self awareness, and social skills. We already talked about self regulation and what that means to emotional intelligence. It's that pause you take to get control of yourself. Motivation is your ability to get yourself up, even on your days off. It's whether or not you can fire yourself up, even in the face of an adverse day. It's keeping yourself going. Um, empathy is, well, empathy is not just whether or not you can relate to people, it's how well you relate to people. And then self awareness is not just how whether or not you know yourself, it's how you show up. It's how well you communicate with other people. And social skills is how other people see you. Now, Peter Salovey and John Mayer did the groundbreaking work on emotional intelligence just a few decades ago. And they said that it's 2 things. First, it's your ability, I'm going to ignore that, that's my phone. They said that first, it's your ability to identify, understand, and manage your own emotions, how well you show up in conflict. That's that self regulation, self awareness, and social skills that we just talked about. Secondly, it's how you identify, understand, and manage other people's emotions. Now, full stop, this is not manipulation, this is empathy. This is how well you can make somebody else feel comfortable in a conflict situation. Can you serve them? Can you support them? Okay? Definitely not manipulation. So, why would you want to have this? I would think the things that we just talked about would be enough to make you want to have it, but not for some people. Why is emotional intelligence or IQ important? Well, EQ impacts everything or every aspect of your life. It impacts business, it impacts relationships, it impacts health, it impacts communication, and it impacts success. People with high EQ are 12 times more productive. Let me say that again. People with high EQ are 12 times more productive. Okay? They have lower stress, both at home and at work. And they have stronger, broader relationships. Now, we can see how that might be important during this pandemic, but stronger, broader relationships are important all the time. The cool thing is emotional intelligence can be learned. It's much more plastic than IQ. You can increase your emotional intelligence at any age. Fortune 500 companies are really taking advantage of this. Over 75% of Fortune 500 companies have EQ training programs. Now, we don't see that so much in healthcare. If you know of a healthcare company or corporation that has an EQ training program, do me a favor and drop that in the comments below because I would love to learn about that, right? So, how do you learn this? How do you learn emotional intelligence? Well, learning emotional intelligence requires studying, exploring, and understanding other people's perspectives. And this is exactly what I do in my coaching. First, you learn about your own personality type or code, and you understand yourself better. And then you learn about the personality types or codes of those people around you, those you're closest to, your family, your close friends, your closest coworkers. And you build better communications and better relationships with those close people. This helps you to understand them better and understand their perspective, their point of view, and see things from their side. It really builds stronger relationships. Then you branch out and you do this with other colleagues that you may not be as close to. And then you branch out from there and do it with your clients, your customers, your patients. Soon you find yourself doing this for conflict resolution and in emergency situations. Now that's true EQ. Again, this is what I teach in my coaching. It's embedded into our signature course. And we find that people have on average, a 20 to 30% increase in this. So if you would like to learn emotional intelligence, drop a comment below and we'll see what we can do. Thank you. Have a great Wednesday evening. For me here, it's still sunny and beautiful outside, and we'll see you again next week.